session and of course the latest Manchester United and Manchester United transfer news. Now, of course, you see in the thumbnail, it is that player, Antony. We have to speak about him again. And of course, we want to speak about Frankie de Jong as well. A bit of a delay there, a blow if you want to put it that way. Of course, please subscribe to the channel. My goal is 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. At the Stretford N Johnson is what you are looking for on TikTok, Instagram and Twitter for more information and content with regards to the Stretford End and Manchester United. So, let's get into it without further ado. But I first want to speak about two things. One, Cristiano Ronaldo and the results of yesterday's meeting. And of course, I want to speak about Zidane Iqbal and Charlie Savage, who have been touted to both be either going out on loan or staying at the club this season as being part of the squad. So, let's start with the youngsters for a change. Zidane Iqbal, Charlie Savage. Quality players. Players that we have seen that can do well enough at the club. But they are young, inexperienced, and perhaps Ten Hag sees them as players that needs development. Players that can be part of his squad in future Manchester United teams. But right now, they need game time. They need development. They cannot be sitting on the bench and playing in the under-23s. We saw on pre-season the type of quality that they can be. However, Darren Fletcher and Erik ten Hag will have a meeting later on this week to decide whether Zidane Iqbal or Charlie Savage will go out on loan or if both of them will go out on loan. In my opinion, we have a lot of youngsters in the team. There isn't much place for Zidane Iqbal, in my opinion, because you've got Christian Eriksen, you have Bruno, you have Donny van de Beek. These are players that can play there. Fred, McTominay. Now, of course, Fred and McTominay would rather be more defensive than attacking, but there isn't much place in the squad. And if we add in Frankie de Jong to that mixture and perhaps another midfielder, or if not Frankie de Jong, maybe Ruben Neves and Yuri Tielemans as options, then perhaps they will have to go out on loan. Charlie Savage looks a quality left-footed holding midfielder, but needs more experience in my opinion. He needs a bit more game time at the top level. And hopefully, moving along now to yesterday with Cristiano Ronaldo, where he had a meeting with Erik ten Hag. And as you saw, Sir Alex, Brian Robson, you name it, were all arriving at Carrington to convince Ronaldo to stay. Now, it was said that he didn't train with the first team, but went through his medical tests as per normal for players when they return to training on their first day back. Now, it's interesting to note that would he leave? It won't be a problem for us, but then we need to go and get Antony. We need another striker. Benjamin Sesko is an option that is out there, but again, a young striker that would come in and probably compete for the place rather than come in and start. Of course, he has the ability and the talent to become world class. But on the other hand, he also needs development. And we have Elanga that can play through the middle, like a Benjamin Sesko. We have Marcus Rashford who can play through the middle. Not to mention the likes of Charlie McNeil and Joe Hugel, who probably will have this season as a breakthrough season into the first team, like Anthony Elanga last season. Now, Cristiano Ronaldo, it was reported by Laurie Whitwell that he does still desire to leave, and the club still, after a day of negotiations with him, still convinced that he is not for sale and that he will be at the club this season. George Mendes is still looking for a club for him. So, again, lots of time, in my opinion, being wasted. Because if he wants to leave, let him leave. We can't force him to stay if his desire is not to stay. We talk about players wanting to be at Manchester United. If he feels that he doesn't want to be here and this is not where he should be for the next season, then cut our losses and move him on. Don't send him out on loan. Get an offer for him. And if there's no offers for him, he has to suck up his pride and play. And of course, he will start ahead of Anthony Martial, as I said in yesterday's video. If you haven't seen it, go and check it out. Drop a like on the video and of course, subscribe to the channel. My goal is 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I do, and I'm thankful and appreciative for those who do and have subscribed already. I'm very, very tentative about the situation with Cristiano Ronaldo. I want him to stay personally, but the wider picture is that he probably will be leaving, and that we have to be prepared for. As you see in the thumbnail, Antony and De Jong problem. Chaos. It's absolute chaos at Manchester United right now because we got everyone else that we wanted. Malacia, Martinez and Eriksen. But we need more signings. I said this. We cannot only have these three by the end of the transfer window. Frankie de Jong is a problem. He still wants his money. We know this. But there's no indication that he's coming to Manchester United. There's no groundbreaking news that comes out and says that, you know what, he's on his way to Manchester United. Xavi has said that he needs to leave because of economic reasons. They cannot register players without having him leave the club. He doesn't want to cut his wages, so why is he still hanging around at Barcelona? He wants his money that is owed to him. Now, of course, he can settle that privately with the lawyer, but if he walks away from this battle with Barcelona, where does that leave us? We get him, and then he comes being upset. He doesn't want to perform. I would rather have it that we forget about Frankie de Jong and we move along to getting other players. Yuri Tielemans is an option. Ruben Neves is still there and available. Conrad Laimer, as I said, RB6 defensive midfielder is there to go and get. But to Ten Hag and the board for trusting him and still wanting to get Frankie de Jong. Apologies. Of course, he is a player that can come in and, as I said before, will be the main man in midfield for us. But time is running out. Next week, Sunday, we play Brighton at home. Our first Premier League game of the season. Guaranteed the starting 11 will probably be from the back to gear. Probably Maguire and Varane. Should Varane be fit? If he's not, Martinez starts next to Maguire, who probably will captain the team. Shaw will start left back. Delo will start right back. In midfield, you're probably looking at a Fred and Donny or a Fred and McTominay. And of course, Bruno in the 10. And on the left, you'll have Rashford, right, Sancho, and up front, Martial. That could be our starting 11. With only Malacia and Martinez as new signings and Eriksen on the bench. If they do not start. It's difficult. It's crazy to think that after all this time, in May already, we had our transfer list given by Erik ten Hag. And we only got 3 of those players. Since May, we've been trying to get Frankie de Jong. But no grounds have been made. We only agreed a fee with Barcelona. But everyone is saying that Frankie de Jong getting other players while they are not paying his wages that is owed to him. That he already told them, it's fine, you don't have to pay me. I understand you guys are broke. But he's still there. So we need to be looking to move on from Frankie de Jong. Antony, Ajax are absolutely insane. For those who have just joined me, please subscribe to the channel. My goal is 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I speak about Manchester United and Manchester United transfer news only, here at the Stretford End. Antony, Ajax have placed a €100 million price tag on him. They have told United publicly that if we want him, we have to pay 100 million. What? He wasn't even worth 60 million, regardless of his performances for Ajax last season, regardless of the amount of talent that he possesses. 100 million. I walk away. I understand his quality. I know Ten Hag sees him as a potential player to become world class, but 100 million is insane. It's not even logically or even financially sensible. And the fact that it's gone to this, what can we say about our transfer team? John Murtagh and company. What have they done? What have they actually done this entire transfer window? Getting Eriksen, Malacia and Martinez was simple. We could have gotten Antony in May already. Ten Hag wanted him. He wanted Manchester United. Why did we delay? Oh, Frankie de Jong first. Look where we are now. He's not even at the club. He's on pre-season tour with Barcelona. How does it make sense that we are unable to get our targets now? Yes, you can say Ajax are pricing us out of a move for Antony. Antony wants Manchester United. His agent was in London speaking to Manchester United. You might as well go ahead and say that the personal terms are probably agreed. But Ajax are playing hardball because they basically sold half of their first team from when Ten Hag was there. That's not our problem. You cannot force a player to stay. It's literally the same situation with Cristiano Ronaldo. We want him to stay. We even got Sir Alex Ferguson to come in and speak to him to convince him to stay with Erik ten Hag. But he wants to leave. You cannot force a player to stay because of their attitude, because of the way that they applied themselves. And now, Ajax are doing the exact same thing to a player that wants to leave. His dream, as they say in the reports, is to come to Manchester United. Mike Verwey has reported from the Netherlands that they want 100 million for him. I get the fact that he's this highly rated player, but he's not worth 100 million. Let's be real. He's not even worth 80 million, not even 70. Hell, he's not even worth 60 million. So, if we don't get Antony, it's only John Murtaugh's fault. We could have gotten Antony before. We could have gotten him earlier. But because we delayed, because we were so focused on Frankie de Jong, we missed the beat with players that were supposed to come in. Eriksen was on a free, and that was so long before it was announced. Thank the Lord it was announced yesterday. But we knew days, weeks ago that he was going to be a Manchester United player. Fabrizio David Ornstein brought out the contract verbal agreement. And now we find ourselves with only 3 signings made. No improvement on last season. No improvement on our starting 11 for this season, let alone the squad. So it's going to be difficult for us to get Antony. But I still want us to get him. I know it's 100 million, but trust me, it's probably just the public news that they don't want to sell him. We know that. The manager has come out and he said that Antony's training well. They've spoken privately behind the scenes saying that they've agreed not to transfer him. And he believes Antony is not busy with the transfer. How can Antony not be busy with the transfer, but the club puts a 100 million price tag on him? That's obvious that they are willing to sell him. But they are putting the price so high because they actually cannot keep him. I see a comment saying from JS that you already have Anthony Martial. Yes, we do. But we cannot have him as a striker alone at the club. Ronaldo is potentially leaving. Who are we going to get to compete with Anthony Martial up front? Anthony Langer can play there, but through the middle, starting for us, Rashford, here and there. We need a pure right winger with a left foot. Sancho plays on the right, but he is right-footed. Rashford can play on the right, but he is right-footed. It's insane. How do we actually understand? And yes, you might say because of Ronaldo's wages, JS, that he won't be leaving. Nobody can pay his wages. We cannot hold him to ransom. We cannot force him to stay. That is not the way we want to be, shall I say, acquitting ourselves as Manchester United. Previously, when he went to Real Madrid, Fergie also wanted to keep him, but he chose to leave regardless of what there was to achieve at Manchester United. He wanted to leave. So it's going to be interesting to see by the end of this week where we are in terms of Antony as a transfer, where we are in Ronaldo's situation. But just a reminder, subscribe to the channel, please. My goal is 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for those who always join me and have joined me today. I always speak about Manchester United and the latest Manchester United news. It is something that we have to understand. It is going to be a huge turnaround of events by the end of this week. A behind-the-scenes preseason friendly against Wrexham will be played today. So probably later on we'll get a couple of pics. We'll get, clips and videos of the game, of any goals that were scored. But we'll also know who has been playing in this particular game. It's going to be interesting. Guys, thank you for joining me. As I said, Antony, Ajax want 100 million as reported by Mike Verwey. And of course, we know the Frankie de Jong story is still on a delay. But as it seems, he probably might not be coming. It is a blow for us. And we have to either move on to other targets or just completely go all out for de Jong as we have been doing. And wait till the end of the transfer window to see if he will be a Manchester United player. Subscribe to the channel, drop a like on the video. Thank you guys for joining me. That is it, me, Session from the Stretford End. Have a wonderful day further, Red Devils. Bye-bye.